Welcome to Yoga with the Prescott Library. We have our mat class today. Grab a chair if you'd like to for some of the standing poses. Our exercises today will be a little more core focused, a little more in our abs than we usually do. Our abs are kind of interesting because I always tell you, really suck in your core and don't worry about the fluff on the outside. Keeping those muscles underneath really strong really helps keep our organs where they're supposed to be. I'm taking a new class on organs, and that was kind of an interesting takeaway. So keeping everything strong, sometimes it's hard to get back into it, but we'll do some stuff today that'll hopefully help. Take a nice big breath in and out, letting your shoulders relax down. And just going to a gentle side-to-side movement, opening up your back, opening up your core, and do this in more of an upright seated position. You can bring it a little more forward on a stretch and stretch out your low back a little bit more. And then slowly stretch. So if you're keeping a more upright position, visualize that your shoulder and your knee are coming together. Let's do a few more. Going a little bit deeper, stretching a little bit longer. And just gently dropping in, bring your hands over. So if you're noticing any stretches, you might notice it more glute and low back kind of come together. So you might notice in both places, coming all the way up. Doing a gentle stretch, opening your legs to a wide V. Find the V, if you need a little bit more narrow, a little bit wider, find what's comfortable. Just dropping in. And coming up and reaching. And coming up, stretch to the opposite side. Coming all the way up and dropping down. Slowly coming up. You're bringing your right leg under and bring your left leg up on top, doing a gentle stretch. Sitting up real tall, you'll probably feel it right in the outside of your hip. And the goal is to sit down all the way. So if it's too challenging, you can always make it a little bit less challenging. It's a little less tight on the hips if you're tight there today. So depending on where you're at, doing a gentle stretch forward. If you've got your leg over, just kind of try to make sure that your hips are pretty equal on both sides. And if it's tight on a knee, whatever, really just take it back to that opening challenge of just a gentle crossover and switching out. So starting here if you'd like. Find one side's a little bit more open than the other. And coming up. And coming down. We will start seated in a boat pose. And if you're in boat, pull your glutes back a little bit, really making sure you're seated a little bit more evenly on the floor and coming back. And coming up. And dropping in again. And coming up. Bring your hands out and just holding up. So if you notice in here, and I'm going to stretch out, if you're noticing here that it's that lower tummy that's engaging, that's what we're looking for. So we're just sitting up real tall and stretching forward, just relaxing a little bit, almost like a little bit of a cat-cow. And coming up and dropping back. Sit up a little bit straighter. I just noticed those kind of dropped in a little bit. Sit up really strong, really engage your core, and just gently dropping in. And coming up. Holding in. So visualize that we have a yoga brick or even a ball. Holding in. And just relax. You can bring yourself a little bit more into relaxation, stretching out your back. Coming up. Now we'll do a little bit deeper, so if you would like to, you can start just one leg at a time, holding onto your knees. You can bring your foot off of the ground. Really just try to keep your tummy engaged. So we're just modifying boat, dropping in. The modifying is nice if you feel like you don't have enough control when you're kind of falling all the way back. Because you still want to keep your upper body really straight. And I notice sometimes that if my body's tired, I might do a little bit more of a slumping in. And even just hanging out up here, holding in. Gently just relax, sitting up real straight. Once more. Now do a boat that is more comfortable. If you would like to do more of a balance, great. If you need to do or want to do one leg at a time, I like the one leg at a time because it gives me a little bit more opportunity to make sure I'm staying balanced and also really just making sure my core is working. Dropping in, one leg at a time, coming down, going onto our hands and knees. Nice cat stretch. And dropping down. And coming up. As you come up, really notice how you're engaging your core. And dropping down. And once more coming up. Roll your toes underneath, gently coming back. We'll come up stretching our Achilles out. Now if your balance is pretty good today, you can always do a little balance. Grab your chair and dropping down, pressing your tailbone up. Nice forward fold. You can always do a forward fold with your knees, hands on your knees. Just make sure you've got your tail feathers sticking up, and dropping in. Balance if you got it. Your core uses a lot of balance, so really notice how your core is engaged. Shoulders down, and resting down, pressing up. Pressing down in again, dropping in. Bring your hands to your chest, reaching out in front. And dropping all the way down, pressing up. Hands to your knees, slowly rolling up. Hands to heart center. The next portion will be a little bit more of a standing with balance. We can really use our core in a standing position. Grab your chair. So first, coming into a warrior one. Holding in, dropping that front knee in a little bit deeper. And then coming forward, holding in, and coming up, and forward, and coming up, and forward. Holding in, you should probably be feeling in that lower part of your tummy, right underneath your belly button. Nice big breath. Coming up into a balance. And with balance, here I'm going to grab my chair. With balance, on here, our goal is to keep our toes, hips facing forward, not a twist open. So keeping straight, warrior three. And then coming in and out. We'll do a few more of this than we normally do. And then dropping back in. So 5, you might have felt that even on your supporting right leg. Coming up, holding in, stepping back, reaching up, warrior one, and dropping down, and up, and down, up, down. Now coming into our warrior three, remember keeping the hip more down than open. And then legs in. Holding out nice and long. Slowly coming back. Nice big breath. Stepping back again, opening up, warrior two. And doing this little side stretch, opening up, and coming up. Stretch. Once more. And coming up. Holding really gives us a lot of core power. to warrior one. And a gentle stretch out. Warrior three, holding in. So warrior three has hips down. And slowly coming up into our tree pose. You can have your hands at heart center if you'd like, or keeping them out. Slowly dropping in. Warrior two. Holding in. Nice, long, powerful hold. And reaching up. And coming out. And dropping in. Reach real long. And coming up. Reach. Warrior two. Opening up to warrior one. And a nice long hold, warrior three. Slowly coming up. Tree pose, remember, hands up. Dropping your hands down, whichever's good. Nice big breath. Walking your hands down. Hands down to the floor, put a little bend in your knees, and slowly walk yourself back into a downward dog. Little bent knee, pressing your tailbone up, and into a plank. Really working on core, and pressing up. Drop your knees down and bring your toes up towards the sky, taking a little bit of the pressure off of your feet and your back if you have it. A lot of core work. And pressing down. And pressing in. And back. Coming down, just slowly, kind of resting your hips out just a little bit. Roll them and roll them, roll them, roll them. Nice big breath. Pressing your hands into the floor, lifting your chest up. And resting down. Pressing up. And if you can lift up a little bit more, try it. Make sure you notice that this is really a lot of core working, a lot of glute. And resting down. Roll your hips, relax your muscles a little bit. And slowly pressing up. See if you can lift your feet off of the ground just a little bit. Dropping your head down towards the ground. And relax. Once more, lifting up, making sure your head is down. See if you can reach your hands towards your feet. Bring your feet up. We're We're strengthening our back as well as our tummy on this one. And resting down. And coming up again. And resting down. Roll your hips. Now slowly coming up on your elbows. Bend your knees, slowly walking back. Nice big breath. Nice big breath in. And taking a twist towards your right. And reaching up. And twisting. Nice big breath. Walking your hands back, we'll come into our full plank. Holding in a downward dog. We'll hold this one for a little bit longer. And downward dog. Slowly bring your left knee down, left hand in the center, coming up into a side plank. So holding up, we're doing a few curl unders. Long stretch up, glancing up towards your fingertips. And coming down, back into our plank. And right hand and knee in. Coming up. And a curl. Back into our plank. And a downward dog. Dropping your knees, opening wide to a child's pose. Gently coming up, resting down, and just sitting here. See if you can reach back just a little bit, lifting your knees off of the ground, stretching your quads out, coming all the way up. Gentle back strokes. Helping really open up our tummies. And now widen your knees just a little bit and visualize that you have a giant beach ball behind you. We'll stretch out the work we've just done, so just dropping in, visualizing a ball right behind you. And coming up. Nice big breath, reaching again. Now if you have a a giant exercise ball handy, you can just drop over there. It's really going to stretch out our tummy and elongate our spine. For those of you that have the flexibility to go into a full camel, you can certainly do that. Dropping in one leg at a time or one arm at a time. Coming up when you're ready. That is a lot of stretching and a lot of strengthening. We will come down to our backs. Do one last pose before our Shavasana. Just bring your knees to your chest. Dropping your feet down. And pressing up. Come into our bridge pose. Down. Pressing up. Keeping your knees very stable. And slowly dropping in. Letting your knees open up, bottoms of your feet together. When you're ready, bring your knees over to one side and do a slow push-up. Thank you for joining us today. Namaste.